wife and her friends secretly recorded my breakdown, then posted it online for thousands to mock me publicly and destroy everything I had built with trust and love and quiet betrayal that shattered my whole world forever. I always thought those who cared for you most would shield your most intimate moments, not use them for entertainment. I believed I had a great marriage. Not ideal, nothing is, but I really felt we had something genuine. We were together for years. Established a life. Established routines. Small inside jokes. Late night takeout trips. Sunday mornings with music soft, and she making coffee and me sitting at the kitchen table, half asleep and half in love. It was safe. Predictable, but in a good way. I thought I could be my real self around her, even the shattered bits. I've always been the type of person to hold things in. I was raised that way. But with her, eventually, I opened some of those walls. Not all of them, at once, but little by little. She'd tell me it was okay to cry. Okay to fall apart sometimes. And when I did, on some of the few days when the world just got to be more than I could handle, I knew my pain was in capable hands with her. That trust, my biggest mistake. It started innocently. I didn't even know it was happening at first. I'd have a terrible day at the office, come home exhausted, and try to talk to her about it. She'd assure me she was hearing what I was saying, but her eyes would shoot to her phone every few seconds. I'd see her giggling at something when I'm in the middle of opening up. She'd say, "Sorry, just my group chat," and I'd let it go. We all get distracted. But then it kept happening more and more. I'd come into a room and the conversation would stop. Or I'd pick up on a muffled echo of my own voice, recorded, only for it to abruptly cut off when I blurted into the room. I brushed it off as paranoia. Stress. Maybe I was paranoid. But the reality? The reality was worse than anything I could have envisioned. There was this one evening where I just completely broke down. One of those evenings where everything just fell apart. Work was crumbling. I had just heard about a family member being unwell, and the pressure, it just blew me open. I cried. I screamed. I hammered my fists on the ground. I begged the universe to just please give me a break. I remember curled in the corner of my room, gasping for air, whispering softly, "I cannot do this anymore." I was open. Naked. Completely broken. I was alone. What I didn't know, what I couldn't have imagined, is that she had tricked out her phone, placed it discreetly under the stack of books on the dresser. Recording me? Not to help me later on. Not to show concern. But to send to her friends. To mock me. To ridicule. I found out days later. A coworker, a guy I barely knew, walked past me in the break room and grunted, "Hey, don't blow it like you did in that video." With a smile. I rigidified. I insisted he tell me what he was talking about. He shrugged. "That clip your wife's friend posted on YouTube. Pretty brutal, man." That first time my chest felt completely hollow. I went into the bathroom and closed the door. Opened social media. I had discovered it in minutes. A private group, yes, but a screen recording had been posted. There I was, on the floor, at my most broken and weakest point. Captioned with laughing emojis and sarcastic hashtags like #mandown and #dramaking. My voice shaking. My hands shaking. And a group of people, strangers, spouting things like, "Bro, a pair," or "This is what she married." The video received thousands of hits. And I just knew. I knew she must have filmed it. No one else had been present when that happened. No one else could have done this to me. I went to her that night, trembling in my hands. My jaw locked so tightly it hurt. She didn't lie. Wouldn't even try to. "It was just a joke," she said to me. "You were acting so dramatic, and my friends couldn't get over it. We were just messing around. It wasn't meant to go viral." I stared at her, trying to make sense of what I was being informed. "You taped me, in the middle of a breakdown, and distributed it to people?" She shrugged. "You always do this thing like your emotions are some sort of sacred thing. Perhaps other people should know what it's actually like." That's when something inside of me finally broke. Not loudly. Not screaming or yelling. It was quiet. A muffled, final snap way deep inside. I left that room, sat in my car, and just stared at the steering wheel for hours. I wasn't just humiliated, I was naked. Betrayed by the one person I thought I could fall apart in front of. Over the ensuing days, I quit eating. I barely slept. Every time I shut my eyes, my own face was burned by the memory on them, twisted in agony, replayed from the cold stare of a camera, as if I were nothing but a meme, etched into a laughing, mocking picture. Friends started calling awkwardly, trying to comfort me without mentioning the video itself. My mailbox was filled with fake messages like, "Hang in there," and "Sorry about what happened." But no one really had a clue. No one grasped the extent of the betrayal that it was. It wasn't just the fact that she taped me, it was that she saw me suffer and made fun of it. Eventually, I separated. I didn't make a fuss. No shouting matches. No melodramatic fights. Just silent withdrawal. I packed some clothes, moved into a small flat, and rebuilt brick by brick. I shut down all my social media, changed phone number, vanished from the online world for a few months. I couldn't bear the sight of myself anymore. There were moments when I'd sit alone on the couch, drinking, staring at the walls, wondering how long I'd be stuck with that tape burned into my mind, wondering if I'd ever trust again. To this day, occasionally I'll catch myself leaping when someone picks up the phone in front of me. I scan the rooms I enter for hidden lenses. I second-guess every tear, every crack in my voice. The idea that someone might be watching has wormed its way into my brain and won't let go. But somehow, I'm still here. Time will not mend all. Perhaps it won't ever. But I've learned to be more discerning of where I invest my trust. I've learned that not everyone deserves to have a window into your brokenness. Some will watch your pain like a freak show, not a sacred thing. And those people? They never should have had your vulnerability in the first place. I still believe in love. But now, I have greater belief in boundaries. I have greater belief in protecting your heart the way you'd lock up your house. Lock the doors. Keep the windows closed. Only open them to the people who see you, and would never, ever make your pain a joke. And most of all, I believe in never recording someone's downfall for a laugh. Because the moment we lose empathy, we lose everything. Other nights, I'd wake up covered in sweat, my heart pounding, as if I relived that experience all over again, curled on the bedroom floor, spilling my guts with someone sitting silently in the background watching me through a lens I never agreed to. I'd have to remind myself that I was safe now. That she wasn't in the room next door talking to her friends. That I was no longer laughed at behind closed doors. But the shame did not care about realities. It sneaked in anyway, grumbling that I was at fault, that I was supposed to expect it. The betrayal did not come solely from her. It came from every single person in that group chat. From every one of the so-called friends who hit forward or added a laughing emoji. Even strangers online, people I didn't know, but who joined in the humiliation. All that collective cruelty, it gets inside you. You begin to question if humans are ever kind, or if they're only kind until you're a means to content. I recall thinking, what is the world we live in, where someone else's pain is but a joke in a group chat? It's easy for other individuals to say, just get over it. But getting over something is not a switch flip. It's a process. A lengthy, aching, quiet one. No one talks about how hard it is to rebuild your self-worth after it has been shattered on stage. Early on, alone, I avoided mirrors. I didn't care to see. Not in the flesh. I didn't care to see the me who was brought down, made fun of, and discarded like a joke. I hated that I had trusted her. I hated that I let her get close enough to watch as I spoke. But despite everything, I never disliked me. Not truly. And maybe that's what saved me. Deep inside, deep within, beyond the shame and the anger, I knew I hadn't done anything wrong. I had broken down, yes. I had cried, doubled over, begged for mercy from life. But that wasn't weakness. That was human. And nothing could take that away from me, no matter how much they mocked me. I started going to therapy. Reluctantly at first. But it was a lifeline. Not because it eliminated the pain, but because it showed me how to make sense of it. To be with it instead of fighting it. I talked about every second of that night. Every breathless moment. Every sneering comment under that video. My therapist never tried to fix me. She just listened. And I learned how remarkable that was, to be heard without judgment. Finally, I mustered the courage to talk to some good friends. Real friends. Not the ones who said nothing when the video circulated. I went cold on all those people without a word. No regrets. Just like that. Because silence when faced with cruelty is a decision. And I don't have space in my life anymore for individuals who make this decision when they should have opted otherwise. One of my oldest friends, someone I'd lost touch with over the years, dropped by one afternoon with a sack of groceries and just said, "I should have called in sooner. I'm sorry." That moment meant more to me than I can say. Sometimes the mending doesn't involve anything dramatic. Sometimes it's a knock on the door when you're least expecting it. A gentle reminder that not everyone is heartless. Slowly, I started getting pieces of myself back. I went back to writing in a journal. I walked for hours by myself, phone in pocket. I even adopted a dog, a reserved little rescue with sad eyes who flinched at loud noises, like me. We understood each other without words to explain it. That dog didn't care about the video. Didn't care about the whispers or the betrayal. He just snuggled up beside me on the couch every night, and for the first time in months, I felt okay. The hardest part, though, was forgiving. Not for her. I'm not there yet. Maybe I never will be. Some betrayals wound so deeply that forgiveness isn't the goal, freedom is. But I had to forgive myself. For not seeing the red flags. For trusting the wrong person. For breaking to begin with. I had to recall that vulnerability is not weakness, it's a form of bravery. And bravely, I was never at fault for feeling emotion. She was at fault for weaponizing it. There's one more thing I've learned, though, something I wish others knew. Just because someone is crying doesn't mean they're weak. It means they've been holding it together for too long. That moment of breaking down wasn't a failure. It was an uncoiling. A long overdue release after years of keeping it all inside. And no one, not her, not the internet, anyone, has the right to shame that. Now, when I think back on that night, I still burn. But I also feel a strange kind of lucidity, too. That moment showed me exactly who she was, and exactly whom I'd been so desperately afraid to see. It hurt. Oh God, it hurt. But it set me free, too. I've grown. Not in the bitter, hard manner I feared I might. But in a more balanced way. I'm more discriminating about the people who enter my world. More cautious. I no longer need approval. I don't overshare. I don't try to explain my emotions to others who have poor empathetic skills. I maintain a smaller inner circle. Quiet. Genuine. And when I witness someone fall today, whether it be a stranger or a friend, I don't turn away. I don't joke. I don't turn my back. I stay with them. Because I've been on that floor, begging to be seen. I've known what it feels like for someone just to say, "You're not alone." I still get bad days. Days when the memory of that video infiltrates my mind. But they do not own me anymore. That moment does not define me. It hurt me. It changed me. But it also taught me how strong I truly am. How deep my capacity for healing is. And how valuable true empathy is. If you've ever been betrayed that way, laughed at while you were at your most vulnerable, listen to this. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are human. And you should be loved, not laughed at. Heard, not recorded. Supported, not exposed. That lesson took me a while to learn. But I carry it with me today, each day. Quietly. Honestly. With the kind of strength that doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. There was a moment, a few months after all of it had found this new rhythm, that I realized something. I was standing on my small balcony one night, the sun low in the horizon, casting this warm, gentle light over everything. The city noises dropped away, and for the first time in a while, I had a feeling of peace wash over me. Not because the past had been erased, but because I had determined it wouldn't control my future. I thought about how easy it would have been to let bitterness win out, to let anger be the lens through which I saw life. But I didn't want that. I wanted to rebuild, not just my life, but my trust in people. I had to learn how to be vulnerable once more without fear that my suffering would be shared and mocked. I slowly started to open up again, first to myself, then to those who truly worked for the privilege. It's strange how the things that break us become the foundation for the person we're going to be next. I don't pretend it's been easy. Healing never is. There are still days I carry the memory of those minutes like stones in my pockets. But with every step, the stones become lighter. I remind myself that falling apart isn't always the end. Sometimes it's the beginning of something stronger. I do not look back and hate now. I look back with gained wisdom. I understand now that betrayal, as cold as it was, revealed to me the cracks in what I thought was solid. It forced me to confront realities I was too scared to face. And in doing so, I found strength I did not know I had. If I could say one thing to anyone who's reading, anyone who's ever been scorched in the fire of someone else's meanness, it would be this: your pain is real, and your feelings are valid. But don't let someone else's betrayal silence your voice or steal your humanity. Protect your heart, yes, but don't shut it down. Because on the other side of that pain is a version of you that's unbreakable. I'm still learning to live with all of this. Still figuring out what it means to trust again, to love again, to open up without fear. But I'm trying. Every day I try. And that, I think, is enough.